There's that good curveball, and that has really been an improved pitch for Brett Cecil.
It certainly has. Last year, it had a loop in it. The ball would go up before it would go down. Now he's staying on top of it a little bit better. He's got a better turn in his lower half, and I think that's really helping him get his whole body behind that curveball. That time, that was the hard one that he threw with one strike.
Tried to make it a little better and bounced it in front of home plate. Blue Jays won 3 in a row in Boston, trying to win a 4th straight ball game. That's their season high, 4 straight. They haven't been able to get anything really put together, and that speaks to the loss of those 3 starters. There's a pitch inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to lead off batter, Coco Crisp.
Keep him off the bases. A speedy guy. They've got a few guys who can run now. Keep him off base before the middle of that lineup comes up.
Ball is driven into right. Rajay Davis in front of the warning track. First out of the inning.
Good job by Cecil. Let's take a look at the scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Fastball, curve, changeup, slider. The basic repertoire for any starting pitcher in baseball. The fastball a little bit better this year. And I think spotting it is going to be very important for Brett Lawrie. His pitch usage, he's using more changeups this year and throwing a better curveball. So those percentages are up this year. Pitching a little bit better, pitching to contact. And the one thing that we haven't seen from Brett Cecil this year, we're not getting the ground balls like we got last year. So that's just all about keeping the ball down in the strike zone.
Johnny Gomes is the DH tonight. Gomes has provided some experience into this young ball club. He's got 10 home runs for the season. Fouls that ball straight back. He's in a hole 0-2.
He's always been a guy who never gets cheated at the plate. Johnny Gomes. He comes in here hot over his last 5, over 500. But you can find holes in his swing, and he'll chase. Very aggressive hitter.
Not quite biting on that breaking ball yet. Cecil has bounced a couple of them. I mentioned Gomes with 10 home runs. He's hit 5 of them in his last 21 ball games. And he's one of those streaky guys that if he gets a few regular at-bats, he can put together some good runs.
A lot like a lot of other home run hitters in baseball. They get into those streaks, those grooves where they're seeing the ball and they're taking good swings. And when they take good swings, they've got the power to knock it out of the ballpark.
Off-speed pitch, and Gomes strikes out. First strikeout of the night for Brett Cecil.
Looked like the changeup from Cecil as he rolls it right off of his fingers. That's in a good spot right there. Down and away, and it really messed up the timing of Johnny Gomes. If he's got that changeup working with the curveball, things are going to be okay for Cecil tonight.
That's one of the real surprise stories of the season in baseball. Josh Reddick batting in the 3rd spot, goes after the first pitch. Reddick with 21 home runs and 46 RBIs, and after that first swing, the Blue Jays have gone into their exaggerated shift to the right side of the diamond. Tried to check and went too far.
They almost have 4 infielders on the right side. There's Brett Lawrie out in right field. He stayed in for that first pitch. And look at the shortstop, Escobar, almost behind second base.
Another red-hot hitter. 346 in his last 13 games. Down and away. Reddick was involved in a trade. He came from Boston, along with Raul Alcantara and Miles Head, for Andrew Bailey and Ryan Sweeney. It's a good deal for both ball clubs, although Bailey has been injured most of the season. But Reddick has really blossomed. He spent parts of the last 3 seasons with the Red Sox, just kind of up and down, never really got a legitimate chance to play. But boy, this year he's made the most of his opportunity.
He was a 5th outfielder in a 4 outfield rotation for the Red Sox last year.
2-2 breaking ball, and he checks in time.
But now with some playing time, he is starting to show off some power. 21 home runs, just 46 RBIs with those 21 home runs.
Well, we mentioned the team batting average is .228. Not a lot of opportunities to hit with runners on. Sound like he broke his bat. Brett Lawrie positioned perfectly. Good clean inning for Brett Cecil to start the ball game. The A's down in order. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They are up over 500 once again. Adam Lind, since the All-Star break, has been great. 12 for 30. Has a double, a home run. He's driven in 7, and the OPS closing in on 1. Brett Lawrie, Colby Rasmus, Edwin Encarnacion. With the absence of Jose Bautista, everybody moves up a notch in the order. J.P. Arancibia has been very productive hitting in that 5th spot. Kelly Johnson, Yunel Escobar. Travis Snyder has hit .364 in his return to the big leagues. And Rajay Davis is batting 9th, and he's in right field.
That's the lineup that Travis Blackley will face. He has pitched well since joining the rotation of the Oakland A's back on May the 28th. 2-2, 286 earned run average since he has joined the rotation. Played in Korea last year, claimed off waivers from San Francisco in May, and because of the injuries to their starting rotation, Blackley gets a chance, and he has really shined for him.
Brett Lawrie goes after the first pitch, hits it off the glove of the pitcher, and that's going to be a base hit. So for a second straight game, Lawrie goes after the first pitch and ends up on base.
Clay Murphy has talked about Brett Lawrie about he wants him to be aggressive. First fastball, you got let it go. Why wait around for anything? Second straight game, he gets a get me over fastball, and he does something with it. Hits it right off of his glove. That'll go as an infield single, and a good start. Blackley throws out the glove, and it goes right off of his thumb and dives in no man's land behind the mound.
Well, we mentioned this is a real good test of a hot-hitting ball club against the best pitching team in the American League.
Don't stray too far off of first base. Blackley's got an excellent move.
Lawrie almost stayed off the base. He thought that Blackley was going to go home. Blackley has 6 pickoffs. He's tied with Ricky Romero in the American League. That's tied for the lead. Only Johnny Cueto of the Reds has more. He has 7.
What you want to do as a runner, don't commit one way or another.
All the way back to the screen, and Lawrie will go to second. Rasmus had squared as if he was going to bunt, and then he had to bail out on that high, hard fastball.
Play for that 1 run early. Looked like he was going to drop a bunt down, but it ends up to the backstop. Might see a bunt once again.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. We mentioned Oakland. They're not very prolific. They don't score a lot of runs, so if you can get a run early, you put them in a big hole.
Colby Rasmus has been very adept at just dropping that bunt down. Last 12 games, the average hasn't been very good because he's hit a lot of balls right at the opposition. He's had a lot of production.
Fastball inside. Colby had an impact in that ball game in the first inning in Boston on Sunday. He had a bunt down the third baseline. That really jump-started the offense. They ended up scoring 5 runs in the first inning. Drives this ball to left. That's going to hang up in the outfield. Josh Reddick has it. Lowry's tagging. Reddick's got a good arm and throws out Lowry. Right on the money. Josh Reddick with his 10th outfield assist throws a strike to third and cuts down Brett Lowry.
Wow, that is textbook how an outfielder does it. Get behind the ball, get your momentum, catch it with one hand, and all in one motion, one step, and throw the ball on one hop to the third baseman. What a play. That's a fast runner in Brett Lowry. And just before he gets there, he gets banged out.
You could see Lowry kind of sensed the ball was on line. You could feel him kind of bracing for that ball hitting him in the back, and that might have slowed him up a half a step. Edwin Encarnacion. Well, how quickly things turned around for the Athletics. Second base, nobody out, and then they get the double play. Encarnacion pops it back over the screen.
I would do that play 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10. In the first inning, try and get in the score and get to third base with less than 2 outs. Just hit it to the wrong guy. When he hit the ball, I thought he hit a lot better than that, a little bit deeper than to right field than what ended up being. But you got to make a play like that. You got to force them to throw you out.
And Encarnacion is called out. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Dan Bellino calls him out. Just 9 pitches. Helped out by a great throw from Josh Reddick. Scoreless after 1. Tonight's another BlackBerry Tweeting Tuesday. You can stay up to date with all the latest Blue Jays news and information by following the club on Twitter @BlueJays. Submit your questions during tonight's game to @BlueJays, and your question could be selected as our Twitter fan question of the night. Twitter Tuesday is always popular here at Rogers Center Tuesday night, and we'll also be joined by John Farrell, the manager, from the dugout a little bit later on in this ballgame. No score. Brett Cecil retired the side in order in the top half of the first. That'll be the cleanup hitter, Leonis Cespedes. Blue Jays didn't see Cespedes the last time these two teams met out in Oakland. He had injured his hand, actually, in BP, preparing for the first game of that 2-game series. 299 average, pretty good looking player.
And it's going up and up and up. Got off to a tough start at the beginning of the season. Was hitting the home runs, but right now he's having much better at bats, hitting the ball the other way with 2 strikes or back up through the middle. You make a mistake on the inner half and down, and he can hurt you.
You can see he chases that changeup, wild swing, and you're right. He is strong on the inner half.
Yeah, and he likes the ball in. It reminds me a lot when I watch him of Andrew Jones. Jones of the New York Yankees, same type of hitter, get on top of the plate, looking for the ball on the inner half. Can go the other way if need be.
Chase that pitch off the plate. Another changeup does the trick. Second strikeout of the night for Brett Cecil.
He has thrown 3 of those changeups now in an inning and a third, and every one of them to those right-handers have been placed perfectly. Right over the top, great arm action on it, and in a good spot.
First baseman Chris Carter will step in the box with 1 out. Carter's bounced around a little early in his career. The 15th round draft choice of the Chicago White Sox in 2005. He was traded from the White Sox to Arizona for Carlos Quentin in 2007 and came here in the Dan Herron trade.
Always known as a big home run hitter in his minor league career.
He's had a couple of 30 home run seasons in his minor league career. In his first season with the A's in Stockton in 2008, he had 39 home runs in the Cal League. Ball on a strike. Pops this one up. Shortstop Yunel Escobar behind second makes the catch. 2 quick outs here. Cecil's retired 5 straight to start this game. Brandon Inge, the former Tiger, beat the Blue Jays with a walk-off grand slam in Oakland off of Francisco Cordero. That allowed the A's to split the 2-game series. And he's homered in back-to-back games and has 3 home runs in his last 5 games.
Not real big on the average, and he's never been one of those kind of guys. He's a guess hitter. He looks for the ball. Doesn't get cheated.
We'll cut it right on the inside corner. Inge has 10 home runs for the season, 9 since he's joined Oakland. Started out the season with Detroit and made a bid for that second base position. Crosses up the defense and shoots one past Kelly Johnson into right center. A 2-out base hit for Brandon Inge.
First hit of the night for the Oakland A's. Was able to wait back. He's batting 6th in the lineup, and he has seen what Brett Cecil has done to those right-handed batters early in the ball game, so he stays back on that changeup and hits it to right field.
Derek Norris, he too acquired in a trade by Billy Beane. He came from the Nationals in that Gio Gonzalez trade. High and deep, and you can forget about this one. Derek Norris jumping on the first pitch, hits his 3rd home run of the season, a 2-run shot with 2 outs.
That's the one thing that the A's are a little bit different this year as opposed to last year. They've got some guys who can power the ball out of the ballpark. 3rd home run of the season for Norris, hitting just 183, so he's looking for one pitch right here. First pitch fastball, and he gets it up and out.
Norris had an 0 for 30 streak snapped on Sunday when he had a hit in the 12th inning. He'd been scuffling a little bit, but he hit that one into the second deck. That's the 26th home run the A's have hit in the month of July. That's the 3rd highest home run total in the American League. The Angels have hit 30, the Yankees have hit 29, and Oakland now has hit 26.
And they now have hit the most since the All-Star break in the last 2 weeks. That's 19 home runs since the All-Star break.
Brandon Hicks the shortstop, with a 2-1 count. If you followed the A's recently, you're going to see a lot of new names in this lineup. Oakland has done a lot of mixing and matching under Bob Melvin.
You got to start putting first names on the scorebook today, because I don't know a lot of these young kids. Derek Norris and Brandon Hicks.
The A's currently have 10 rookies on their roster. That's a foul ball. They mentioned the power of Oakland, and we have seen it early in this ball game. Derek Norris, the catcher, hit the 26th home run that Oakland has hit in the month of July, and they're the top 5 teams. Blue Jays, they had 4 on Sunday, but you can see they still trail in the 5th spot. And now Hicks takes a 2-out walk. This all started with 2 outs. Brandon Inge had an opposite field single, and Norris hit the 2-run homer.
Very quick outs too in the first 2. A strikeout and then a pop-up.
Jamal Weeks, younger brother of Ricky Weeks of the Milwaukee Brewers. He's had a tough season offensively, batting just .216. In his last 8 games, not much better. Just 4 hits in 32 at-bats.
The A's are winning ball games, a lot of them, but they're not pounding the baseball. They're not winning those games 8-1 or 10-2.
They've won 8 straight 1-run games. Each of the last 5 wins has been a 1-run game. They lean heavily on their pitching staff. Bob Melvin, a former catcher, understands that the pitchers set the tone for your ball club. Weeks pops it down the right side. It looks like it's going to reach the seats, and it does.
They have won. You mentioned that record, 14-2. Yeah. Their last 5 wins have all been 1-run games. They've all been very close, well-played games. So you better have some good pitching, and the A's certainly have that.
The surprising aspect of this ball club is the power. In this month, 39 runs have come off the home run. That's 58% of their runs are scored by the home run. You expect Boston, New York, Texas, even Toronto to be in that category, but not Oakland.
Not in that ballpark either. That is not a very good hitter's ballpark for home runs, but this year, okay.
There's a long drive down the left field line. It's got the distance, but it hooks foul.
And that's the problem once again for Brett Cecil this year, the declining ground ball rate. It has gone down the last 4 years for him, all the way down to 34% this year. And that just goes back to making quality pitches, throwing the ball and keeping it down in the strike zone. Aaron Laffey did it his last time out, throwing 7 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox.
Sharply hit. Laurie gloves it and goes to second to get the force out. The inning comes to an end, but Derek Norris' 2-run home run off Brett Cecil has given Oakland a 2-0 lead. The Blue Jays will counter with Adam Lind, J.P. Arancibia, and Kelly Johnson. Bottom of the 2nd. to Leanne Ireland from Whitby, Ontario for being selected tonight's Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday Fan of the Game. Leanne says, we love watching the Blue Jays play. We never miss a game on Sportsnet. Leanne, we thank you for your support. We love your passion. If you'd like to be selected as the Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday Fan of the Game, send us a picture and tell us why you should be selected. For more information, log on to BlueJays.com/fan-of-the-game. Yep, that sounds like a good idea. Let's paint ourselves up and go to the ball game.
I was wondering where my tickets went. Now I know.
Yep, those are your passes tonight. Blue Jays got some work to do.
Fan of the game. You're just talking about the fan of the game. I vote for them. Anybody who would do that's got to get my vote.
They got to be a serious fan, that's for sure. Adam Lind batting in a fourth spot. Lind has almost been exclusively used as the DH of late. That seems to serve him very well. Came in the ball game on Sunday and pinch hit for JP Arancibia. Got a base hit.
You know, I think that's good for him. His best season as a big leaguer was the year that he DH'd 3 years ago. And also, when he came back up from the minor league, you see his numbers right there. They said he was in a good spot. His mind was clear and very free. So why not just let him DH and ride this thing out? The only thing he has to worry about is swinging the baseball bat. Edwin Encarnacion is playing some good first base. Adam now, when he just has to worry about hitting, has put up some pretty good numbers.
Counts in his favor, 3-1. Shoots it to the right side. Jamal Weeks makes a nice play. He dove on his knees, gloved it, and threw the ball from his knees to pick up the first out of the inning.
Very nifty play. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Travis Blackley. Fastball, it doesn't overpower you. He's got to keep it down. He'll use it 52% of the time. Slider, curveball, and changeup also from Blackley. He likes to work out of the stretch all the time. He doesn't work out of the windup, and that helps him just to stay together and keep everything together. Fastball tops out about 90 miles an hour. When he has two strikes, he's basically going to throw his fastball or his slider. Those are the two pitches that he'll try and get you out with.
He likes to work the right-handed hitters down and away with that fastball. JP Arancibia had a big day on Sunday. Drove in 4 runs with a ground ball out and a 3-run homer. The Blue Jays obviously lean heavily on the home run, and they're up against a tough task tonight. Travis Blackley has allowed only 1 home run all season long. That home run came in his first starts. He hasn't given up a long ball in his last 7 starts.
The best ratio in baseball. Home runs per 9 innings. Belongs to Travis Blackley. JP Arancibia is on one of those streaks also, the home run streak. He had a home run on Saturday in Boston, and he followed that up against John Lester on Sunday afternoon with this long 3-run home run to really bust it open early for Toronto.
Looked like a high cutter that just kind of sailed up and away.
He has talked about now hitting up a little bit higher in the lineup for John Farrell's team, with Jose Bautista on the disabled list, and there's something about him where that focus really goes up when there are men out there to be knocked in.
3-1. He drives this to the gap, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the warning track. Cut off by Coco Crisp, and JP Arancibia delivers an opposite field double. Number 15 for the Blue Jays catcher.
You know, the one thing you watch from JP Arancibia over this last couple of weeks that he has been hot, he is very quiet at the plate. There's not a lot of extra movement. He's starting to use his hands just a little bit better. He gets into trouble when he tries to hit the ball a little bit too hard, a little bit too far, as you see Coco Crisp really go all out to knock that ball down and keep it from going all the way to the wall. But JP is in one of those spots right now. Good place to be.
Kelly Johnson, the second baseman, bats with 1 out. Breaking ball, strike. Been an up and down year for Kelly Johnson. His average currently at 239. He did not play in the game on Sunday with John Lester starting. Had a double and scored a run Saturday night in the Blue Jays 7-3 win over Boston. Been a struggle for him of late. Just 15 for 85. That's his last 27 ball games. He's hit a .183. Fouls this ball back. Sometimes hitters get into a mental funk where they're trying to hit every pitch, and I think Kelly might be in one of those situations where every time he's looking for a fastball, he gets a breaking ball, and every time he looks for a breaking ball, he gets a fastball.
That happens sometimes if you go up there thinking like that. The best approach might be, okay, this guy's got a good fastball, I'm going to hit a fastball early in the count. Or if you want to look for a breaking ball early in the count and just sit on that until you get the 2 strikes, that might be the one. And then take the fastball if you have to.
Barkley pushed him back. He won't throw many fastballs higher than 91 miles an hour. Not a power pitcher by any means.
Yeah, he'll use it to set up his other pitches. That time that fastball was used just to push Johnson back off the plate. It was up to change his eye level, maybe stand him up a little bit, and maybe they'll go back outside with something off speed.
And there's that off speed pitch. He executed perfectly. Fastball inside, and then he goes to the breaking ball. His second strikeout of the night.
Good spinning breaking ball right here, right out of that same arm action. And you can see it's right over the top. 12-6 curveball goes straight down to get Johnson for the second out.
Blackley's an interesting study in perseverance. He was signed by the Seattle Mariners as a free agent back in 2000. He comes from Australia. He's from Melbourne, Australia. He was the Seattle Mariners minor league pitcher of the year in 2003 and pitched in the Futures game for the World Team in 2003. He actually made his big league debut on July 1st, 2004. And the manager of the Mariners at that time was Bob Melvin, who's now currently managing Oakland. Yunel Escobar steps in against against Travis Blackley. 2 outs. Aaron Seavey at second base. Ball is popped up into shallow center. Shortstop Brandon Hicks is back, and the Blue Jays are done in the second. J.P. Aaron Seavey gets the double, but the Blue Jays leave a base runner. 2-0 Oakland. In 15 minutes, and Pat and I will be atop the CN Tower with our Edge Walk. It's all for a great cause. And tomorrow, that's going to be Pat and I, and we're going to be leaning way out over that edge walk. Or maybe not.
No, you might be.
But it all takes place tomorrow, and we hope that you can make a contribution to the Jays Care Foundation. That's what we're doing this for. And you can find out more information by logging on to jayscare.com/edgewalk. Hard to believe it's here already.
That actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool.
I really do. And thank you once again to all the fans who have donated.
Yeah, people that have supported, we certainly want to thank you. Coco Crisp back top of the order. Coco flying out his first time up. Now, I think it'd be great as soon as my knees stop knocking together once we get up on top of there. But I know they do a great job, and everybody will make sure we're all in good hands. Cutter is fouled out of play. Coco Crisp is now 32 years old. He started out his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. Then he was traded to Cleveland, and that's where he made his major league debut in 2002. Played 32 games with the Indians. He's played in Cleveland, Boston, Kansas City, and now Oakland. This is his third season with the Athletics. Had 49 steals last year for Oakland in 136 games. His first real healthy season in a while. He hadn't had over 500 bats since 2007 with the Red Sox.
And they're nagging little injuries that he has had. Represents some speed at the top of the lineup for him. They've got a couple of guys who can run. Reddick, Crisp, and Weeks can all run. That's another aspect that the A's haven't had for a couple of years, is that good speed where they can manufacture a run.
Billy Beane is a very good general manager, and of course the movie Moneyball was all about Billy Beane and the Oakland Athletics. And Moneyball really, it didn't do Billy Beane a great service, because he is much more than what they characterize in that movie. And he's a bright guy and a tremendous talent evaluator. Chris chases that inside pitch. He tried to check and couldn't. Third strikeout for Cecil.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Blue Jays back home after a 6-game road trip through New York and Boston. Oakland for 3, followed by the Detroit Tigers. Doesn't get easy for the Blue Jays.
Hot team after hot team that the Blue Jays have to face. Is it safe to say, we were just talking about Billy Beane, that he has done more with less than any general manager over the last 10 or 12 years in all of baseball?
So. I think you could say that. When you look at the Athletics and what they've been able to do, they started this season with a $53 million payroll. And when we just came from New York, they have a $200 million payroll. Boston's got about $180 million payroll. And then to see Oakland with their $53 million payroll, right in the midst of the wild card race, and only 6 back in the American League West.
They just got finished playing the New York Yankees and sweeping the Yankees in 4 games at Oakland. Their payroll, talking about their payroll, CC, Sabathia, and A-Rod together is more than theirs. CC, Sabathia, A-Rod's money this year, they make more than the whole Oakland A's team makes this season.
Alex Rodriguez at $30 million. Johnny Gomes got the breaking ball and pulls it through the hole into left. He sat back and waited for that breaking ball. Cecil made a pretty good pitch with the fastball earlier in at bat and didn't get the call.
Thought he had him struck out. The previous pitch goes back to that breaking ball, and Gomes gets a hold of that one. 3rd hit of the night for Oakland.
Johnny Gomes and Edwin Encarnacion both spent time in Cincinnati, but they weren't teammates. Josh Reddick grounded out to Brett Lawrie. It's interesting, both times the first pitch, Laurie has been stationed at third base in a traditional position. And then after the first pitch, after that strike, he moves over to the right side of the diamond.
Taking away the bunt, the first pitch, and then after a strike, will move over into that hole.
Reddick has hit .281 against lefty pitching this year, so that has not been a problem for him. Cecil, Escobar, Encarnacion, 1-6-3 double play. That does it to close out the A's in the third. For the Blue Jays, it'll be Travis Snider. He's had a good return to the Blue Jays. Rajay Davis with a career-tying 5th home run on Sunday. And Brett Laurie started it all with a long ball on the first pitch against John Lester. First time this year. He played 3 games in Boston after rejoining the ball club. Had a good series against the Red Sox. Well, 4 for 11 with a home run and a double. Recalled from Las Vegas after hitting .335 in AAA.
Well, he's doing it not just with his bat, he is also using his glove, playing a very good left field. Watch this play the other night in Boston where he gets a good read and lays out to pick it off. He also took a hit away from Adrian Gonzalez going down the right field wall. And this is what the Blue Jays have been waiting for from Travis Snider, the ability to hit the ball the other way off of left-handers or to center field. He's made a couple of changes physically with stance. You can see his arms a little bit lower. Wayne Murphy always felt like he really wrapped himself up with the bat a little bit higher and tied himself up. Said, let's put the bat a little bit lower, free yourself up, and he's had some good at-bats since he has come back.
Hangs tough on that breaking ball and fouls it up the first baseline. Snider, we mentioned his batting average at .335. He also hit 13 home runs and drove in 56 runs in 56 games. That home run he hit off John Lester was his first hit against Lester in 10 at-bats. Lester really had his number.
And he had something like 8 strikeouts also against Lester.
High and deep to right field. Reddick at the wall, jumping up. Home run, Travis Snider against the lefty. Only the second home run allowed by Travis Blackley. And the Blue Jays have cut into the A's lead.
It's a different hitter. By not tying himself up with the bat a little bit high and wrapping it around his head, having it a little bit lower, it frees him up. That the swing has become very simple. It's very short and under control. We all know that he's got some power. That time he looks like with one hand, but powers it over the wall in right field. Pretty good at bat right there by Travis Snider.
Well, that's a great example of how Snider doesn't have to generate an awful lot of bat speed. He's got the strength to hit it out. Rajay Davis is robbed of an extra base hit by Chris Carter. That ball was headed for the right field corner.
That looked like it could have easily been 3. Inside out swing. Carter's about 6'4", 6'5", and he rips it down. If that ball gets over his head with the great speed of Davis, he might be standing on third.
Kelly Johnson and Snider comparing notes on Travis Blackley. Johnson struck out against Blackley and Snider homered. Back to the top of the order. We mentioned that's just the second home run that Blackley has allowed this season. He was one of 3 pitchers with a minimum of 50 innings that allowed just 1 home run. Brett Laurie might have got it off the end of the bat a bit. It hangs up, and Cespedes is there to make the catch right on the warning track.
Sweet spot is about the size of a dime. And if you don't hit it on that sweet spot, it'll look like you might get it. That one just off the end of the bat by Laurie, but he still gave it a good ride.
John Farrell will join us after this half inning from the dugout. Give us all the latest on what's going on down there at field level. 2 outs. Kobe Erasmus lined into a double play. Hit a ball out to Josh Reddick, and Reddick made a terrific throw to third base to gun down Brett Laurie trying to advance. 17 homers and 60 RBIs for the Blue Jays center fielder. Blue Jays one of the few teams that have 3 players with 60 ribbies. The Yankees handled Erasmus very effectively by pitching him inside. When you have a batter that stands right on top of the plate, first thing I think of as a former catcher is he wants the ball in. He wants everything to be in, but he likes to extend his arms. So when you crowd him even further, that ties him up.
Show him some pitches inside, but eventually get him out away. He hit some balls hard, and New York just didn't have anything to show for it.
He had a triple and a double to start his series in Boston, and that got him off and running. But the Yankees were the first team we had seen that had really pounded him inside. He was 0 for 11 in that series against New York. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blue Jays have cut into the A's lead. Another pitch inside, that hit him. Brushed his jersey, and he'll take first.
Two and two. And there's another ball on the inside part of the plate, and it gets away from Blackley as he hits his first batter. You can see it just flip his shirt.
Rasmus is at first now for Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion was called out on a fastball. Caught the outside corner. Breaking ball. The appeal to first base umpire Jerry Lane said no swing. Ball and a strike to Edwin Encarnacion. There's that pickoff move, and it's a good one. I mean, that's a classic lefty pitcher pickoff move along the lines of Mark Burley and Andy Pettit.
Yeah, a good one. They pick their foot up and they don't commit one way or another as they're going home, meaning their leg doesn't go behind the rubber or in front of it. It's in the same spot every time when they go home or when they go to first base.
Well, there's another wild pitch. It went off the glove of Derek Norris, the catcher, and Rasmus will move into scoring position.
That's interesting that both times with the runner at first base, uncorking some wild pitches, not even close to the strike zone.
Happened in the first inning with Laurie at first base, and now with 2 outs, Rasmus moves up 90 feet. It's like a wild pitch committed by Blackley. Down and away. Encarnacion has really had the patience at the plate that served him well. He takes a 2-out walk.
Yeah, once that wild pitch got by Norris, the catcher, that opened up first base. You know, Bob Melvin doesn't want his pitcher to give anything to hit to Encarnacion. They end up walking him, and they'll take their chances with Adam Lind. A little bit better left on left situation. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Playing the percentages.
Adam Lind was robbed of a base hit on a fine play by Jamal Weeks back in the second. Rasmus at second, Encarnacion at first. 2-1 Oakland. Downstairs. Foul out of play. The home run by Travis Snyder came with 2 strikes to lead off this inning. That was the first home run that Blackley has given up in 187 batters faced. He gave up a home run to Trevor Plouffe in his first start back on May 28th and hadn't given up a home run since. Travis Blackley has always been tough to run on for his career, and this is just his 25th game, but he's only allowed 2 stolen bases. But the Blue Jays feel they might be able to steal third off of him.
If he starts giving them one look or falling into a pattern towards home plate or pitches, why not? Better when they are more aggressive.
Bouncing ball, that's a fair ball. Carter flips to Blackley ahead of Lind, and the A's are out of the inning. But Travis Snyder with his second home run since joining the Blue Jays. It's a high breaking ball and puts a charge in it. Blue Jays are on the board. They trail 2-1. be joined now by the manager, John Farrell, from the Blue Jays dugout. And John, Travis Snider's been with you for 4 games now. He's hit 2 home runs, both off lefty pitchers. What's different with Snider's approach against the southpaws?
You know what, Buck? I think he's doing a better job of staying on top of his legs. He's not lunging out as much, and when he's gotten a couple of fastballs up in the middle of the zone, he's put very good swings on him by the 2 home runs, both Lester and then Blakely here tonight.
Brett Cecil looks like he's got a pretty good curveball and a changeup. Tell us what you're seeing from down in the dugout tonight.
You know, Tabby, with the exception of the fastball to their catcher, Norris, you know, he's mixed and matched. He's used his changeup down and away to righties. He's done a much better job since coming back, tightening up his curveball that he's used backdoor to righties pretty successfully. But as long as he stays out of the middle plate, he's got a chance for us.
Thanks, John.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate your time. This is John Farrell giving us his thoughts about Travis Snider and Brett Cecil. When you think about it, Brett Cecil had 1 pitch he'd like to get back in the Yankee game. And so far tonight, that 1 pitch to Derek Norris has really hurt him. Gave up a 2-run home run. Yoenis Cespedes, the left fielder. He chases that changeup, doesn't he?
He is ready for the number 1, the fastball. I think as soon as he steps into that batter's box, don't throw him anything other than a changeup if he keeps swinging at it.
A bullet down the left side into the seats. It's interesting when we hear comparisons. Cespedes talk about different guys. The A's broadcasters see a lot of Raul Mondesi in his game. Not a big guy, not 6 foot tall, but boy, a very strong, muscular guy with a quick bat.
Looks like a fire plug to me, the way he is put together. Thick. Can he run like Mondesi? I guess that's the one.
Yeah, he's the fastest guy on their team, which kind of surprised me when you see Josh Reddick out in right field. Mondesi could really run, and was an exceptional base runner.
Had a great arm in the outfield also.
Laid off that breaking ball. Cespedes was on the DL from May 7th to the 31st. He strained his left hand in batting practice, and we were on the field when it happened. I saw him walk out of the batting cage, and I was looking forward to seeing him. But then he has also had a stint where he dealt with a strained hamstring. Another off-speed pitch, another strikeout. Cespedes has gone down swinging twice.
Well, if you're going to keep swinging at it, I think you have to keep throwing it. And another changeup. You can see it really has Cespedes way out in front. Second time that he has gotten him. 4th on the night for Brett Cecil.
Chris Carter popped up to the shortstop back in the 2nd. Carter's just 25 years old, and he's had a lot of attention throughout his minor league career. And he was a prominent part of a couple of big trades. First one from Chicago to the Diamondbacks for Carlos Quentin. And the second one from the Diamondbacks to the A's. Then Dan Herron was the pitcher that was the centerpiece of that trade. So many people think very highly of Chris Carter.
You know, why is that in baseball? You got a guy who does really well in the minor leagues, but he can't move up with the team that originally drafted him and then goes to another team and can't make that one. I think what he has to think is somebody likes me out there, that they're willing to give up some pretty good players for me. You can see how well he's put together, but that this guy's going to hit some home runs.
Well, just a reminder that the London Olympics will officially open on Friday, but the competition begins Wednesday with the first matches of the women's soccer tournament. It's Canada versus Japan, Wednesday at 11:30 Eastern on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific. And we certainly want to wish that Canadian soccer team the best of luck and bring home a medal. We'll be watching. They'll open up their Olympics with a game against Japan Wednesday at 11:30 on Sportsnet. JP Arancibia with a quick trip to the mound. Brandon Inge started things for the A's in the second with 2 outs. Cecil actually got ahead of Inge, had a couple of strikes on him, and then he shot a ground ball to the left of second baseman Kelly Johnson into right.
Pretty smart hitting. He was watching what the Blue Jays starter was doing to those right-handers, using that changeup down and away.
Well, they come inside and throw a strike. Cecil started a double play in the third inning on the comebacker off the bat of Josh Reddick. Inge is always a good candidate for a double play as he hits the ball so hard on the ground. Upstairs.
Looking for that off-speed pitch again. Cecil stayed a little firm.
Yeah, Norris, the rookie, hit a 2-run home run on the first pitch he saw tonight. He was back in the second inning. Fly ball into center. Rasmus all the way to the warning track, right up against the wall, makes the catch, and Inge just missed it. Open air baseball at Rogers Center tonight. There's a very stiff breeze outside, and that ball seemed to be knocked down a bit in center, but it didn't affect Derek Norris.
Right after that single by Inge, he gets a fat one over the middle of the plate. And that's the pitch that John Farrell was just telling us. If he stays out of the middle of the plate and keeps the ball down, he's going to be fine. Just one mistake his last start, a 3-run home run by Andrew Jones. Just one mistake here tonight. That one to Norris.
Derek Norris with that home run has just 2 hits in his last 31 at bats. And that comes on the heels of a 7-game hit streak. So he's been hot and cold. Ground ball. Escobar will go across the diamond in plenty of time to end the inning. Oakland strands one. Blue Jays trail 2-1. We're headed to the bottom of the fourth. In the TD Comfort Zone, our guest of TD Canada, the TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. And they're all decked out in their Blue Jays caps and jerseys, having a good night here at Rogers Center. First of 6 games on this homestand. Oakland in town for 3, and the Detroit Tigers will come into Rogers Center for the first time this season, starting Friday night. JP Arancibia doubled his first time up. drove a ball to the alley in right center. Average up to 241. Blue Jays 1 run on 3 hits. Oakland 2 runs on 3 hits. And all the runs in this ball game have come on the home run. Used to be something was quite common with the Athletics. Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson, Dave Henderson, but it's a different ball club now.
That was a long time ago. Then it got to be pitching Mulder, Zito, and Hudson.
Even that team that had Mulder, Zito, and Hudson had Miguel Tejada and Jason Giambi.
Yeah.
They had some pop on that club as well.
Eric Chavez.
Kurt Suzuki has lost some playing time because of Derek Norris's power. Suzuki hit his first home run of the season on Sunday. Breaking ball, strike 3. Aaron Sevilla caught looking at the curveball.
It's a pretty good curveball. Third strikeout of the night for Travis Blackley. Set this up with a couple of fastballs early, and he spins a good one right there, and JP knew it.
Blackley won his first game of the season on June 15th against San Diego during interleague play. That was interesting because it was almost 8 years between wins. Picked up a win in his first big league game on July 1st, 2004. Made 6 starts in July of 2004 as a 21-year-old for the Mariners. And then didn't make it back to the big leagues until 2007.
It's an interesting way that he ended up here and why he ended up with the Oakland A's this season. They've had a lot of injuries to their starters like the Blue Jays have. Brett Anderson and Dallas Braden, Brandon McCarthy, all on the disabled list. Well, they've got to get somebody from the minor leagues to take their spots. And at the end of May, he was picked up from the Giants so he could fill out the roster of their Sacramento AAA team because of the injuries that have happened to the big league team. But then another injury got him to the big leagues, and he hasn't been able to come out of the rotation. That's how well he has pitched.
Off the glove of Blackley, and that's going to go for a base hit. Hicks knocked it down, but it trickled away from him, and Kelly Johnson will be credited with an infield hit.
A couple of comebackers tonight to Blackley. Hasn't been able to come up with either one of them. Brett Laurie got an infield single his first time up. And now this time, right off of Blackley's glove and Hicks, the shortstop, for another hit.
Yunel Escobar popped up to the shortstop. That ended the second. Escobar has been hitting the ball with much more authority of late, and it has to do with the fact that he has stood a little taller in the batter's box and dropped his hands down to an area where he can really get that bat through the zone.
And that's another thing that Dwayne Murphy has been preaching to him for a while. You stand up a little taller, and this will help you get your bat through that strike zone. A lot like Travis Snyder. Stand up, drop your hands just a little bit. Remember him early in the year, how he'd really tie himself up. You could see his whole back and number facing out towards the pitcher. But he has hit a couple of balls hard, especially in that Boston series. Line drives. The important thing about the changes that Escobar has made is he finally understands, I think, what he has been talking about, what Dwayne Murphy has been talking about.
Yeah, you can listen to all the coaching, and until you feel it yourself, you're not going to really understand the benefit of making those kinds of adjustments. Wayne Murphy has been very steadfast in his belief that if Escobar stood up, and he's a big guy, he's a strong guy, but if he stood up, then he would have the leverage to really hit the ball much harder.
He was really taking away from his power.
Murphy believes that he's going to have a strong finish to this season just because of where he is at the plate right now. Two balls and a strike. 2-1 ball game. Oakland has a 1-run lead. Off the plate outside. You know, another thing that is a benefit of standing more upright in the batter's box is you have a better look at the strike zone. You're not bent over and your head's not tilted to the side. It's just a more upright approach. Think about Colby Rasmus and how he stands upright at the plate. Broken bat. Second for one. Back to first. Double play. Good pivot by Jemiah Weeks at second. And Blackley gets the double play to get out of the inning. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Bob Elliott, the Hall of Fame writer from the Toronto Sun. He's going to relate his Cooperstown experience with us when we come back. Pleased to be joined now in the booth by the Hall of Fame writer from the Toronto Sun, Bob Elliott. And Bob, how does that sound? I know it's finally got to sink into you a little bit.
Thanks for having me up here, Bucko. It's a long distance to travel, and it was about 6 steps, but it was a heck of a weekend. It was very, very humbling. Met a lot of very nice people. A lot of friends were there, and family. It was very good.
And you held up all Saturday afternoon when you made your speech, huh?
Yeah, that was a big surprise. We had, I think my daughter told me it was the over-under on cheers was 2 minutes, I think. And no way I would get through talking about my mother or my father or whatever, breaking down.
No, you did a great job. It was a marvelous speech, and you must be proud when you think about the people, and you've got a lot of friends that are in the Hall of Fame, a lot of writers that are in the Hall of Fame, but what impressed you most about the entire experience, about as far as the people you met over the course of that weekend?
Carlton Fisk, he impressed me a lot. I didn't really know him that well. Johnny Bench was awesome. Just awesome. I saw him Friday night at the Farmers Market Museum, and he just settled me down for the next day. He said, "Why would you be nervous?" I said, I said, well, there's all these people in front of me, all these people behind me, they're Hall of Famers. And he said, it's going to be the greatest day of your life.
Oh, good for Johnny. That's awesome.
You were telling me before the ball game, we had a couple of minutes to chat downstairs before the ball game, and you were telling me about a person you were talking to, and they were relating about Ron Santo, about that. Can you tell us that quickly?
I told a Ron Santos story about how when I was a kid, 10 years old, 11 years old, I'd cut out the pictures from Sport Magazine. I'd mail the stories off. And I'd say, you're my favorite player. You play for my favorite team. It was a form letter. I'd send it to like 15 guys, right? So everybody just signed. Most guys would sign him or not even sign him. But Ron Santo wrote, to my good buddy Bobby, a true Cubs fan, all the best. Your good buddy Ron Santo. So I told that story, and at the museum afterwards, this lady came up to me and she said, that was a wonderful story. He always did go the extra mile. So I'm looking at her credential, but it's flipped over, so I don't know who this lady is, and I'm talking to her, and this is nice. And so finally she said, did you realize what happened as soon as the story ended? And I said, not really. And then she said, the church bells started to play. And I said, I did hear them, but I don't recall exactly when they chimed in. And so eventually he turned it over. It was Ron Santos' daughter. And that was a special moment.
You're going to make me cry.
Well, she messed it up a little bit.
That was really something that Santo would go in, of course, obviously after he's passed away, but after that connection and you two went in together. I know you ran into my pal George Brett, and he's the epitome of a Hall of Famer, but you got a chance to visit with him a few times too.
Well, we went for dinner, and he kind of sat down, like he didn't see us when we sat down. His back was to me, so I just gave him one of my. So he looked around, and he came right over, and I said, this is going to be great. And he said, what do you mean? I said, my son wanted to meet one guy on this trip, one person. He said, oh, really? Who's that? I said, well, he's standing right here. So anyways, I introduced him and talked, and then he came to the writer's reception on Friday afternoon on the veranda, and then I saw him again, of course, at the ceremonies Saturday and Sunday.
That's awesome. Bob, you were always very proud of writing about Canadian baseball. And of course, Fergie Jenkins was in there. You saw him play as a youngster, and you've been across the country. You were one of the first guys that ever recognized Joey Votto and had a chance. And what was your connection, and why were you so concerned about elevating the awareness of Canadian baseball players across Canada?
Well, I think, Buck, during the winter, I really didn't have anything to do, so there wasn't any ball games to go to, so I'd go to these indoor hitting facilities, and we'd go out and go for a bite to eat afterwards and tell lies and have a few laughs, rather. And I'd see how hard these kids worked, and they weren't getting any recognition, like a hockey player or whatever. So I just thought it was an untapped market, I guess. So I kept writing about it. I remember Joey Votto emailing me in grade 12, and he wanted to go to a showcase. I don't know if it was a Team One or a Perfect Game in Florida, and his coach told him, don't go, because American scouts don't care about Canadians. And I said, kiddo, if you can hit, they don't care where you're from. You can be from Neptune or wherever.
Great advice. That's that double play that Doug Cecil gets out of it. Bob, we want to thank you for all the years. Both Pat and I had a chance to work with you as players, and you are now in the rightful spot of being in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Thanks for your time.
Thank you both very much.
Bob Elliott, Hall of Fame. Thank you, Hazel. And Travis Snyder steps in to start the bottom of the 5th. Snyder has now homered in 2 straight at-bats against left-handed pitchers. He homered against John Lester on Sunday in Boston, and he's homered here against Travis Barkley in his first at-bat. Before that, he had 3 home runs and 159 career at-bats against lefty pitching. So he's in a good spot with his stance, with his approach, and gone deep the last 2 at-bats against lefties.
When he was younger player, and that was a couple of years ago, you would watch his approach at the plate against a left-hander, and you could tell that he was going to have trouble. He had a couple holes in his swing, high fastball, down and away, breaking ball. But now he seems to see the ball just a little bit better. His swing isn't as long, and I was talking with Dwayne Murphy about that. It seems like he stays inside the ball a lot better than he did when he was younger. Doesn't go around the ball. And what I mean by that is, if you watch the head of the bat going towards the baseball, because he wrapped the bat so high and his hands were high and he'd bring him down, he had a little hitch in his swing, and then he had to bring him back up. He was always late, so he was going around the baseball instead of taking the head of the bat right to the ball. Much better approach now.
Breaking ball. Another good play by Carter at first, just in time. Well, Chris Carter has taken a couple of hits away from the Blue Jays tonight. He speared a line drive off the bat of Rajay Davis back in the 3rd, and here he takes one away from Travis Snyder, first out of the 5th.
This is the 3rd nice play of the night by the defense of the Oakland A's. There was a great play by Weeks, and the 2 that you just mentioned. I thought when that throw was coming to Blackley that it was behind him ever so slightly, that he was going to be able to beat that throw, but you could see from that replay, out at first base by a half a step.
Carter is a big guy. He's 6'4". He moves around very well over at first. Rajay Davis. Shows bunt. Ball is bounced in front of home. Davis has a lot of friends on the Oakland Ball Club. He spent parts of 3 seasons with Oakland. Went to Oakland from San Francisco in 2008, and then played the entire 2009-2010 season in an A's uniform. Ground ball to short. Hicks has it. Unloads in a hurry. Shows a good arm. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Beautiful night in Toronto, CN Tower. Tabby and I will be walking around the edge tomorrow about noon. We'll be part of a group just like that. Tabby be leaning way out over the edge tomorrow.
Really?
Oh, I know you will.
So, where'd you hear that? Yeah, it's down to what? 15 hours and about 23 minutes? Look at that.
We're going to have cameras, and we'll bring you all the stories. And if you are one of the top 20 donors, you and your guest will be part of a reception. Brett Lawrie hits that one right in front of the left fielder, Cespedes. A 2-out single. Lawrie's second hit of the night.
Infield single his first time up. He flew deep to left field his second time, and now this one. Staying back just a little bit better on that breaking ball, recognizing it, then throwing his hands at that baseball. This should be a nice little cat and mouse game now, I think, between Lawrie and Blackley, the pitcher.
Well, it's really difficult to work for a lead against Blackley. He's got that great pickoff move. You know it's coming, and you still don't believe what you see.
Yeah. You see him pick up his front foot. It looks like he's going over to home. Well, you just have to hang out there a little bit. Pitchers like this with very tough moves over to first base, you might have to go to plan B if you want to try and steal. and that is the delay steal. Try and steal it on the infielder or the catcher.
So breaking ball misses. Goes the left-handed pitcher in Texas, Mike Mason.
Mike Mason had a good move.
Yeah, Mike Mason picked me off one time, and I was looking at home. I was waiting for the ball to go in the catcher's glove, and the first baseman had it. And I wasn't thinking about stealing.
How big was your lead?
Oh, about 1.5 feet. Had my hands on my knees looking in plate. First baseman tagged me out. I said, "What are you doing?"
Still waiting. Still waiting for that ball to hit the catcher's glove, huh?
I never saw it coming. 2-0, 2 outs. 2-1 ball game. It is a Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday. And Blue Jays are big Twitter fans. A lot of players are keeping their fans up to date on Twitter. There's that pitch inside, and the A's got a scouting report from that Yankees series. It was the first time we've seen a team really pound Rasmus inside.
Start off with some slow pitches early and then really go inside against him. Best way to get a pitcher out of that kitchen area, hit a couple of balls hard.
This is popped up into shallow left field. Shortstop Hicks is there, makes the catch. Rasmus is retired. The inning is over. We have played 5 at Rogers Center. Good ball game. 2-1 Oakland. In Twitter, you can keep up to date on all the Blue Jay players, and there are their Twitter handles. Jose Bautista, of course, Joey Bats 19, Ricky Romero, Brett Flory, JP Arancibia. They always reach out to their fans on Twitter, and you can too. Just follow them on Twitter and write down their Twitter handles, and you'll be able to keep up to date. Jose Bautista was out early this afternoon playing catch. He still had his left wrist wrapped, as you see it is there, but he was playing catch. He did the throwing. He didn't catch the ball, but he threw it back just to keep his arm in shape. And he's optimistic about being able to come back off the disabled list after the 15 days.
Blue Jays are very excited about the strides that he has made so far. The strength in the wrist. Dry swings are going to be coming, I believe, by the end of the week. He's improved a lot quicker than they were thinking. It's very encouraging.
Johnny Gomes has gone 1 for 2 so far tonight. Curveball he lays off. Gomes had a base hit on a curveball in the 3rd inning. Hitting with 2 strikes, he shortened up his stroke, and Cecil left one up out over the plate, and he pulled it through the hole into left field.
This is where he starts to cheat right here. 2-0, looking for something to hit out of the ballpark.
Power hitters like Johnny Gomes can take that outside pitch and hook it to the seats. Gomes, when he was with Tampa Bay, hit one of the longest home runs ever in Tropicana Field, high over the restaurant in center field. This is where hitters will cheat. 3-1 count, counts in their favor, just sell out.
Yeah, he can look for one pitch in one zone.
Pretty good pitch. That's not one you want to swing at it. 3-1.
No, he was looking for something on the inner half that he could pull, and Cecil threw it on the outside corner. He swings at that. That's a ground ball to shortstop. So he shows a little plate discipline there to let it go.
Full count, Johnny Gomes. Strike 3 call. Gomes was on his way to first, thought it was outside. Dan Bellino rings him up. Second time Gomes has struck out tonight. Now it's time for Future Stars, brought to you by Toyota's More For You event. On now. Future Stars, we're talking about a #1 pick, Marcus Stroman, out of Duke University. His last 2 outings in Vancouver, he's thrown the ball very well. Yeah, a little shaky start to his career, but that's unusual. That's not unusual.
A little rough his first couple, but we can see over his last couple of innings, 4 innings, no runs, a hit, and 3 strikeouts. And what's encouraging about that from the reports we hear, got a good fastball working.
Well, he had a long layoff after the end of the collegiate season at Duke. Didn't pitch much, waited out the draft, then he got drafted, and now he's just getting back up to arm strength and ready to pitch in the game. Cecil lost his footing and almost fell down.
And if that happens as he starts to get a little bit stronger, that's the type of player that can move very quickly through your farm system. A college pitcher. As you see the right side of the infield stacked with Blue Jays.
There's a bunt, and that's going to be a base hit. Josh Reddick lays down a perfect bunt, crosses up the Blue Jays defense, and he gets on base with 1 out.
Don't know why teams don't do that a little bit more often. When you take away the defender from the spot, all you have to do is just get it down on the ground, and that's an easy base hit.
I think you're going to see more and more of it as the teams continue to overplay the defense. Hitters are going to have to make adjustments. You don't want to constantly hit into that one-sided defense, and even though you're a power hitter like Reddick with 21 home runs, you're going to have to take that bunt from time to time.
First time up, he hit right into the teeth of that shift and was robbed of a base hit. So he said, not this time.
Giannis Cespedes, the left fielder, struck out twice, and both times it's been off-speed pitches. Fastball inside. Cecil almost threw one over the head of Encarnacion. Reddick is a good combination of power and speed. He's 8 for 8 in steals this year.
We've got a guy who has struck out twice. This might be a good time to put something on. We'll watch here in Sebia.
Cespedes is really in between. He wants to look for off-speed pitches, and then he got a fastball, tried to check, but went too far. Cespedes, as we mentioned, had been out of the lineup, and boy, he is a big presence in this batting order. Oakland is 39-24 with him in the lineup, and 12-20 without him. Top of the 6th inning, big right-hander Chad Beck begins to throw. Yeah, I think Cecil's got the right idea right here. Even though Cespedes has a couple of strikeouts, they might try to push the offense a bit.
Well, you put the hit and run on a player who's not having a whole lot of success picking up the baseball. It might slow him down just a little bit. Cut down on his swing a little bit, knowing that he's just got to get the ball in play.
Boy, he's got a good swing. He's got a powerful swing and really extends through that hitting zone. It does remind me a little bit of Mondesi at the plate.
I've watched a couple of his home runs in Oakland. That's a big ballpark, especially in the power alleys, and it's not big enough for this guy. Hitting them up into those stands in left center field, those new football stands.
Great ball game, a 2-1 game. Oakland scored 2 runs on a 2-run homer by Derek Norris, the catcher. His 3rd home run of the season. Travis Snyder with a solo home run. It's 2-1 Oakland. Tried to catch that inside corner and missed. Full count. Now, to me, this is a real dilemma for Bob Melvin. I know he's got a 1-run lead, but still, Cespedes has struck out twice on off-speed pitches. Do you start to run him?
I say yes, because he's probably going to get a changeup after that fastball right there. That's a good pitch that you could try and steal on. And you mentioned Reddick 8 for 8. So if he strikes out, he'll have a pretty good chance of getting into scoring position.
Not going. Strike 3 call. Cespedes takes the strike this time. It looked like another changeup, and it got him 3 strikeouts for Cespedes so far in this game.
You can see the grip inside Cecil, and it's a breaking ball for a strike. Catches plenty of the plates on the inside part, and Cespedes just hoping that they call it for a ball. Reddick is not getting a very good read on Cecil's move to first base. Every time he lifts his front leg, he is leaning back towards first.
Cespedes with 3 strikeouts tonight. Cecil has 7 in the game. That's a season high. It's 6 strikeouts against the Angels here on the 28th of June. Chris Carter, the first baseman, popped up and walked. Jumps out on this one, but gets out in front and pulls it foul. It's really interesting, Cecil, and he is aware. He knows what the situation is. Jay Happ is lurking down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Happ is a starter. He's made 17 relief appearances in his career. Made 90 career starts. He was just acquired in a trade with Houston. So there's going to be competition for a spot in the rotation, and I think all the starters recognize that.
That's one thing the Jays have done over the last couple of years. They've wanted to get a little bit deeper and create some competition. There's Jay Happ, a left-hander who looked good in his 2/3 of an inning in Boston. They created some competition, but now the ranks have been thinned a little bit because of injury.
But that changeup is working. It's really baffling the A's hitters.
Yeah, combine that with his good curveball tonight and just enough fastball, and that's why he's got those 7 strikeouts here in the 6th.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Good speed at first base in Josh Reddick. Come on and miss. Cecil strikes out the side. He's got 8 in the ball game. The Blue Jays trail by a run. Middle of the order to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Edwin Encarnacion, Adam Lind, and J.P. Arancibia. Is brought to you by the Aspire Travel World MasterCard from Capital One. And tonight we'll take a look at inside the numbers of the guys that have really picked up the slack for the loss of Jose Bautista in the month of July. Edwin Encarnacion has an OPS of 1.180. He has 12 ribbies. Arancibia with 12 and Lind with 12. These guys have really been productive without having Jose Bautista in the lineup. They have really stepped it up.
Yeah, all 3 of them have batted over 300. J.P. Arancibia is 306, the lowest batting average amongst those 3 of the month of July. They've also hit 12 home runs between them and driven in a lot of runs. Brett Cecil's night looks like it is over after that very good inning in the 6th as he strikes out the side. But the middle of the lineup, they're all hot together, and that's a very good sign for the Blue Jays. You want to start bunching all those hot hitters together. That usually means some runs are going to come.
Upstairs. Curveball he lays off. Boy, that's the biggest difference. We talk about it often as you look at Lind standing on deck is the patience we have seen from Encarnacion. He has a game plan. He knows what he wants to hit, and he doesn't chase.
Felt like Bautista last year. He is all over every one of those pitches.
Good rip at that fastball. Blackley has faced the Blue Jays before, but that was in 2004 right here at the ballpark. He was the losing pitcher in a 12-4 Seattle loss. Encarnacion spoils that inside pitch and stays alive.
Nothing special, you know, moves his fastball around. He pitches really well. He really mixes it up well, and he's got a good curveball. But nothing that really says, wow, I think that really is top flight.
Threw that fastball by Encarnacion. 1 out here at Rogers Center. Let's check in with Hazel May. Hazel, that's right. He has certainly been a subject of a lot of rumors as the trade deadline is just 6 days away. July 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be the trade deadline for the non-waiver trade period. Cliff Lee, boy, he's had a tough season. 7 innings, 9 hits. He's allowed 3 earned runs. Zach Greinke's had a good start. Just 3 hits through 6 innings. Hasn't walked a batter and struck out 4.
Some team is going to pay very dearly if Greinke ends up getting moved.
I'm predicting it's the Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers.
Texas just lost Kobe Lewis for the season, and he's going to have elbow surgery. They are going to put Felice back into the bullpen when he comes back, and I think they're going to step up their offers to the Milwaukee Brewers. Greinke, of course, pitched in the American League with Kansas City, but Lewis was the best playoff pitcher for Texas the last 2 years. In 8 playoff starts, a 4-1 record with a 2.34 ERA, and that's a big loss for Texas.
That's a big loss, and they need it. They have sights on winning the World Series, and their farm system is stuffed full of players.
They got players coming out their ears. Leonis Martin is a center fielder that could be involved. Adam Lynn looks at a breaking ball. It's back-to-back strikeouts. Bottom of the 6th.
Told you he's got a good curveball tonight. Throws it out of the same spot as that fastball, and it really backs up on the left-handers. His season high in strikeouts was against the Dodgers on June 21st when he had 6. That was his 5th tonight.
J. Pierre Arencibia can tie this thing up with 1 swing of the bat. He has 15 homers so far this season. Pops it straight back. There have been some trades already, and some big ones, with Detroit picking up Anibal Sanchez, the pitcher, and a good second baseman in Omar Infante. That's a big deal for Detroit. Detroit was getting nothing out of the second base position.
There have been rumors for a month or so about them trading for a second baseman. And that's going to work out quite nicely, I think, for the Tigers.
Arencibia thinking about a home run. Swings and misses that off-speed pitch. 0-2.
It cost him a very good prospect.
Jacob Turner, big-time pitching prospect. Very young, powerful, big, strong kid.
Just 21 years old.
Arencibia is in a hole, 0-2, and an opposite field double in his first at bat against Travis Blackley, and then was caught looking at a breaking ball for strike 3 in the 4th. Another good swing, another foul back. Oakland is rumored to be in the market for a shortstop, and the Miami Marlins might have a shortstop that they can trade. He's playing third base right now, Hanley Ramirez.
I heard that one tonight, that Hanley Ramirez is on the radar of the Oakland A's.
Off-speed pitch, and Blackley strikes out the side. 6 strikeouts. That ties his season high as he's had it working tonight. Tuesday fan question of the game, and here's Slater 93 asks, considering the equal depth and Jay Happ's starting persona, why don't the Jays move to a 6-man rotation?
You know, if they had done that all season long and they trained for a 6-man rotation, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But this is a team that has been put together with a 5-man staff and with the thoughts of that. So they get into their nice little routines and they throw on this day and they sit on this day, they work out on this day, and then they pitch on that day. I think that would really throw a wrench into the Blue Jays, especially their young starters, if now you add another day to that. Somebody like Henderson Alvarez comes to mind. He is locked into a 5-man rotation. To mess with that, I think, would do a little bit more harm than good.
I agree with you 100%. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is Chad Beck, the right-hander. Beck making his 6th appearance of the season. Beck pitched in Boston, faced just one batter and gave up a single to Nick Punto. And he was bailed out by Aaron Root. Root came out of the bullpen and retired Jacoby Ellsbury. That ended the 6th. So for the A's, it's Inge Norris and Brandon Hicks, the shortstop. That cutter just off the end of the bat as Inge went after him. Chad Beck was announced into the ball game Wednesday afternoon in New York. And before he could throw a pitch, the rains came. The tarp was brought on the field, and the game was ultimately called. He never threw a pitch in that ball game, but he has a game appearance to his credit. Well, he just blows that fastball right by Brandon Inge.
Want a better tasting burger? Then step up to the plate for a Sirloin Uncle Burger at A&W. Made with 5 ounces of juicy sirloin, it's a taste of burger bliss.
Beautiful night in Toronto. It has cooled off dramatically. Yesterday was sweltering in the southern Ontario area. Derek Norris homered on the first pitch he saw tonight, a 2-run shot to the seats in left. Norris came in a trade with the Washington Nationals along with Tommy Maloney and Brad Peacock for Gio Gonzalez. That's a trade that's worked out for both clubs.
Yeah, Washington got what they wanted. They wanted an experienced starter, preferably left-handed, to fit in behind Strasburg and Gordon Zimmerman. Check. They had a deep enough farm system that they couldn't and wouldn't miss the prospects that they sent back to the A's. The A's wanted a bunch of young talent for one of their pitchers. They traded 3 of their best pitchers off of last year's team in the offseason and did a heck of a job scouting other organizations and picking up some young talent.
And that's the key to their success. They identify talent in the lower levels and make those trades. Upstairs, 3-1.
They have the guts to go out there and trade their best pitchers, 2 best starters, and the closer off of last year's team. And then recognizing what they need, what organization matches up, and then taking it from there.
Took something off and throws a strike. It's full count. 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. Chad Beck into the ball game in relief of Brett Cecil. He went 6 innings and recorded 8 strikeouts. Here's the payoff pitch. Fouled out. There are a lot of rumors around baseball this time of the year. Just before the trade deadline, Wandy Rodriguez is been talked about for a long time, and of course the Astros are dismantling their team. Blue Jays got 2 veterans, Brandon Lyon and Jay Happ. Brett Myers went from Houston to the White Sox, and it sounds like Wandy Rodriguez might be headed to the Pirates.
That is full-fledged fire sale / white flag by the Houston Astros, isn't it?
It sure is. Houston 34-63. They've lost 7 straight. They're 22.5 games back, and they're getting prepared for next year in the American League.
They got to do something about restocking their farm system. It's been dry for a while.
Back to the mound. Beck knocks it down. And better hurry. Norris got down the line in good shape. Made it close. 2 down. Brett Cecil, just 1 bad pitch to Derek Norris. Gave up a 2-run home run. Norris's 3rd home run of the season. He goes 6 innings, scatters 5 hits. A couple of earned runs. He struck out 8. And just 1 bad pitch, not unlike his last start. 1 bad pitch to Andrew Jones yielded a 3-run home run.
8 punch-outs tonight by Brett Cecil, and he did it with a combination of pitches. He had a good curveball. His changeup was excellent to the right-handers. 6 of the 8 strikeouts. Swinging.
Well, they chased that changeup early in the ball game off of Cecil. Chad Beck is going to get opportunities if he continues to throw strikes. You know, a lot of great opportunities available for pitchers in the rotation and out of the bullpen.
This is the exact spot that John Farrell has talked about, his relief corps.
That's shot past diving Laurie all the way down in the left field corner. Brandon Hicks is around first, into second, standing. His 4th double of the season.
7th inning, the starter gets knocked out. It's a close game. I need a 0 right here. He tires the first 2 batters, and then this ball just out of the reach of Brett Laurie and down in the left field line, and Hicks picks up his first hit of the night. But this is where John Farrell wants to see a 0 put up on the board right here.
With this offense, if you can throw some zeros up when your club's behind, you can pick up some wins. Because they're going to score late in the ball game. Jamal Weeks. There's pitch outside. Oakland as a team fared very well with runners in scoring position. 242 average. Weeks has hit just 190 with runners in scoring position.
It's an interesting offensive attack that the A's have coming in here to Rogers Center. Last in the major leagues in batting, 4th fewest runs scored, 4th lowest on base percentage. They've been shut out 11 times, but they're 7 games over 500.
Yeah. How do you figure that? Bob Melvin, when he looks at his averages and sees his team hitting 228 coming into this ball game, hard to explain a 14-2 month of June. That's the best record in baseball.
Great pitching, first of all, but they have come up with ways to manufacture runs, unlike the old teams. They 4th in walks, and now they're 3rd in stolen bases.
That ball is drilled to center field, and Rasmus dives, and it looked like it hit off his glove. Weeks is headed for 3rd. Hicks comes in to score, and Jamal Weeks delivers the RBI triple. His 3rd triple of the season. Comes with 2 outs in the 7th.
Quietly gets the first 2 batters a strikeout and a comebacker. 2-out double, 2-out triple now by Weeks, and it looked like Rasmus almost came up with it. He had a long way to go, but it's just out of his reach. He was playing Weeks shallow, and to left center field, and he turned on that pitch.
So Chad Beck gets the first 2 in the inning very quickly, and then there's a back-to-back extra base hits. Jay Happ will come on to face Coco Crisp when we come back. Lead, and they have gotten themselves back into the pennant race in the AL West and certainly in the wild card race this season. You see where they were on June 10th. They were 26-35, and that is coincidental with Cespedes being on the DL. He missed most of May. When he came back, he started to spark the team, and since they've gone 25-9. They pitched well throughout that stretch, but they are certainly back in the hunt in the wild card race. Left-hander Jay Happ making his second appearance with the Blue Jays, and Coco Crisp goes after the first pitch and pulls it down the left field line. Weeks comes in to score. That's 3 straight extra base hits by Oakland with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
On that graphic also it said they've been averaging 4 runs a game, but their slugging and on base percentage is going up, and this is why right here, what we're seeing right here in this inning. Double, triple, and now double by Crisp as he picks up the first ball down there. Watch Snyder's effort down in the corner to try and keep that ball in front of him before it gets to the wall. Good hustle by Snyder. But this is what the A's have been doing. Good on base percentage and a good slugging percentage to get their runs.
Jay Happ now works to Johnny Gomes. Johnny Gomes and Happ both spent time in the National League. Gomes is 0 for 7 against the Blue Jays left-hander. There are only 2 A's batters that have faced Jay Happ in the past, Gomes and Seth Smith. There's a good fastball. Evens the count at 1-1. Downstairs. If you think that the A's are all about starting pitching, think again. Their bullpen, which is going to come into play here, first in ERA, first in fewest hits allowed in 9 innings, and they have allowed just 22 home runs, tied for first in that department. Their bullpen has been just as good as their starting rotation, maybe better.
Yeah, heading into the season, it's like, okay, you just traded Trevor Cahill, Gio Gonzalez, and the closer from last year, Andrew Bailey. It's better pitching staff.
Well, they have more depth, and there are some unknown names down there, but they have pitched very well. 3-1 to Johnny Gomes. Good swing and a miss. Perhaps keeping that ball down and away from it.
Good change up there as he crosses up Johnny Gomes.
Gomes asked for time as Happ and Aaron Seavey took a while to get their heads together. Full count pitch. Left-hander on deck, Josh Reddick. They have a base open at first, but remember, Reddick has hit .281 against lefty pitching this year.
Happ's curveball has been much better this year. He's throwing it with a little bit more authority. Throwing it a little bit harder to get some strikeouts. Looks like that's where he wants to go.
Gomes walks. So Johnny Gomes is on board for the second time of the night. Oakland with 2 runs in the 7th. Both runs coming after 2 were down. It's a 4-1 Oakland lead. Josh Reddick had a bunt single his last time up. Now the infield has to play it straight away. Laurie is at third. Escobar inching behind Coco Crisp.
He won't be bunting now. Not with runners in scoring position.
Down and away. Well, this Oakland team is playing with a lot of confidence. They have won 5 in a row, 9 of their last 10. And they have a 14-2 record in July.
How about all the walk-off wins also? You don't think that gets a team fired up?
They've had 11 walk-off wins from 10 different players. A lot of balance. Bob Melvin has mixed up the lineup a lot, giving guys the opportunity to play. There go the runners. They got a great jump, a double steal executed perfectly. Mention the mix and match theory that has played very well for Oakland. When you look at the most lineups used this season, Tampa Bay has used 90 different lineups, and the Athletics right on their heels with 87. Boston, because of all their injuries, has had to mix it up a lot. Mariners got a young team, and the Tigers are right there with 77 different lineups. That walk to Reddick will load the bases. Back-to-back walks issued by Jay Happ.
Boy, this started out to be an easy-looking inning. A strikeout and a comebacker on about 6 or 7 pitches. 2 very quick outs, and they just can't get that third one.
Well, you can hear a smattering of boos after that walk, and I don't think that's fair. Jay Happ has been a starter for 4 years, and he's making his second relief appearance in 4 years. He had last pitched in relief in 2009. He just hasn't worked much out of the bullpen, and it's a totally different mindset to try to come into an inning midstream. Bases are loaded. Jonas Cespedes has struck out 3 times tonight.
All on the changeup. Usually changeup in the breaking ball, so they have to start some with a strike. Another off-speed pitch. A's have had 3 grand slams this year. Cespedes is just looking for a fastball. He's looking for one of them that he could try and turn on.
This downstairs. This is the 3rd time this season Cespedes has had 3 strikeouts in a game. With 3 strikeouts against the Giants in a game in June, and then 3 against Boston in July.
It's from an open stance. You can see really looking for that ball inside.
Cecil handled him very effectively when he kept the ball away from him and throwing changeups. Happ has a good changeup. Bases loaded. And this all started with 2 outs in the inning. 3-1. Cespedes is the 8th man to bat in this inning. There's that good changeup.
Might have helped him out too. That might have been ball 4. They have not real used to coming in and cleaning up innings. You mentioned that he was a starter. Trying to clean it up here for Chad Beck.
Full count, 2 outs. All 3 base runners will be off on the pitch. There go the runners. There's a base hit. 1 run in. 2 runs are in, and they're going to wave it around. Reddick from third. Here's the throw to the plate. It's offline. Jonas Cespedes with a 3-run single on a full count pitch. Clears the bases.
Boy, the Oakland A's are rolling right now. They're getting good pitching. They're getting timely hitting. And this is timely. 3-2. The runners get a little bit of a head start. It looked like another off-speed pitch that was up, and that ball is hit hard. Even though Blue Jays have 3 relievers, or excuse me, 3 infielders on the left side of the infield. Crosses him up and hits it into the outfield for 3 quick RBIs.
Chris Carter looks at one down and away. Oakland with a bat around inning have scored 5 this inning. Chris Carter is 0 for 2 with the walk. Is popped into right field. Rajay Davis over near the line, and the inning has come to an end. But Oakland, a 2-out rally, send 9 men to the plate. In the 7th, they score 4 runs and have taken a commanding lead. Enjoying the ball game tonight are some of the fighters from UFC 152. That'll take place Saturday, September 22nd, and this afternoon. They were atop the CN Tower taking the edge walk. Pat and I will do that tomorrow, and if they can do it, we can do it, Pat. Not a problem. But UFC 152, Benavidez and Johnson, September 22nd. The tickets are on sale Friday, July 27th at Ticketmaster. So the UFC fighters here in attendance tonight after their edge walk, and they look none the worse for wear, Pat. I'm sure we'll be fine tomorrow night, too.
They don't have to call a ball game tonight. They were leaning out pretty far there.
Did a nice job with that. Well, the Blue Jays have their work cut out for them. They trail by 6 as they bat in the bottom of the 7th. 5 runs with 2 outs. And that's exactly what John Farrell was concerned about. Putting up zeros late in the game, bridging the gap to Oliver and Casey Janssen.
Yeah, even if you're behind or ahead by a run or 2, I need a 0 in the 7th inning. When my starter comes out of there, I need you to throw one up there, give my offense a chance to get back into it if you're behind, or add on if you're in front. And you're right, bridge it to those last few guys, Oliver and Casey Janssen. That just didn't happen. And now the Blue Jays really got their work cut out for them.
They've been shut down on 5 hits, just a single run. That was a solo home run off the bat of Travis Snyder. That's been it. The only extra base hit, don't check that JP Arancibia had a double to the opposite field. Strike 3 called. That breaking ball has served Blackley well. He struck out 4 straight now.
And 7 on the game. Another curveball. We got Kelly Johnson earlier swinging. This time he gives up on it. It crosses the plate. Kelly thought that one was high, but it's right there for the first out.
Yunel Escobar has gone 0 for 2. There were some whispers that Oakland might be interested in Yunel Escobar to fill up that shortstop void. I think the Blue Jays are pleased with Escobar and like him right where he is. He drills that ball into left. Cespedes gets there, and Escobar is retired. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 7th.
It's a natural rumor, too, because they've got a built-in replacement in Echeverria down in AAA. But the way Escobar has been playing lately, it's tough to give up. You'd have to get at least a 2 or a 3 out of your starting rotation from him. An everyday big league shortstop.
The one thing Oakland has, they have 3 major league pitchers rehabbing. Brett Anderson, Dallas Braden, Brandon McCarthy. So they have some depth in the starting pitching ranks. Travis Snyder has homered. He homered in his first at bat in the 3rd inning.
He was then robbed of that second hit by another good defensive play.
He's all over this pitch and rips it foul.
Carter, the first baseman, robbed him of a hit. Looked very good.
Chris Carter's made a couple of good plays. Took a hit away from Rajay Davis when he speared a line drive. Blackley's been impressive. He's a guy that came up with the Mariners as a 21-year-old in 2004. Had shoulder surgery in 2005. Blackley made 2 starts with the San Francisco Giants in September of 2007. The first time he pitched in the big leagues since his debut in 04. And then it wasn't until this year that he came back. He'd been to Korea, as you mentioned. He'd played overseas and just felt like he still had something to give the game.
And signed to help their AAA team because of all the injuries they had. Fill out a roster, veteran guy. Gets a chance in the big leagues, and he is running with his chance.
He strikes out Travis Snyder. That's 8 strikeouts now for Travis Blackley. 4 in the last 2 innings. And he's got a big lead. 7-1 Oakland. Will take place on August 14th. The Blue Jays and the Chicago White Sox will hook up. The game starts at 7:07 p.m. There are great prizes to be won. There's a first pitch, autographed merchandise, and T-shirts. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com and stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday is always very popular. The next one will take place August 14th when the White Sox are in town. Well, Brandon Inge struck out to start the top of the 7th. First 2 batters were retired quickly by Chad Beck, and then the roof caved in. Double, 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 walk, walk, and then a 3-run single. Jay Happ. Foul back.
Good to see him out of the windup now. He came in after Weeks had tripled in a run against Chris, but then came in out of the stretch, double, walk, walk, single.
Hinge to left field. Snyder moves over to his right, makes the catch.
So now a little bit more familiar surroundings as he starts an inning out of the windup.
That's Evan Scribner, the right-hander, down in the bullpen. He's loosening up. They've got 10 rookies on this team currently. They've used 10 rookie pitchers. 17 rookies overall this season.
How about that? When I started doing homework on the Oakland A's and I saw how young they are and the players that they have used.
Sean Doolittle, Evan Scribner, Ryan Cook, all youngsters down in that bullpen.
17 rookies used overall this year.
Yep. Their franchise high in rookie pitchers was 12 back in 2009. Billy Beane is not afraid to turn his roster over. And some of that has to do with injuries, of course. We mentioned there are 3 starters that are just close to coming back.
I don't think you go into a season saying, okay, I think we're going to play all our rookies this year. You know, you go out there with the idea we're going to put our best team together. Things happen. They happen in spring training. They happen after the season, and then you got to scramble. You got to come up with another plan.
Last time we were in Chicago, they had 6 rookies in their bullpen. And we saw that didn't work. They went out and picked up Brett Myers from the Astros to give them another veteran presence.
Yeah, Jesse Crane has come back off the disabled list, so get those veterans back down there. Those young kids we saw in Chicago, they were not ready.
Derek Norris pops it into right. Rajay Davis is there, 2 outs.
Well, this is where we were an inning ago.
2 outs. Yep. 2 outs, and Brandon Hicks, he started it with a ringing double just inside the bag at third. Jamal Weeks hit a triple to right center. Coco Crisp double. This is popped up in foul ground, and Rajay Davis over and never got to it. Well, that ball hit about 6 feet away from the wall. The wall, not really a concern there. Davis just kind of pulled up, and the ball hit on the warning track.
I think he thought that the ball was going to head into the stands, but it was blowing back. You could see it go up in the air and it start to come back into the playing surface. Pulls up just a little bit, you're right, and then the ball stayed in. Catchable play.
Shoots one over in that direction again, but this one is well back out of play. Blue Jays were hopeful of extending their 3-game win streak. They're going to have to overcome a 6-run deficit late in the ball game. Good changeup, and that ends the inning. Brandon Hicks strikes out. So Jay Happ bounces back a 1-2-3 8th inning. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Now it's time for the Smart Play, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Please enjoy responsibly.
Saw the Blue Jays after 1 strike to a left-handed hitter, Josh Reddick, really play him the pull. So Reddick says, you know what, you robbed me his first time up. I'm going to go ahead and drop the bunt down. All I have to do is just get it to the left side, get it by the pitcher, and that's an easy infield single for Josh Reddick. Blue Jays next time up kept that third baseman over there then, and they got him out. So a smart play by Josh Reddick to pick up a base hit.
So Bob Melvin will go to the bullpen after Travis Blackley gives him 7 good innings. Evan Scribner this season making his 9th appearance. Scribner appeared in the big leagues last year with San Diego. Pitched in a total of 10 games, all in relief.
9 innings in the 8 games. He is not allowed to run yet. Very tough on right-handers as you watch him as he dramatically throws across his body. Very tough for the right-handers to pick up his pitches.
Two and 0. As we mentioned, Scribner made his major league debut with San Diego last year. 10 relief appearances, came over 2 different stints with the Padres. He's been back and forth between AAA Sacramento and Oakland over the course of the season.
Yeah, this is his 2nd time with the A's this year. Just recalled from AAA June the 24th, and he's getting a little bit more work this time. And the quality pitches. Closed some games in AAA this year.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Oakland blew the game wide open with 5 runs in the top half of the 7th. Scoring all 5 runs after 2 were out.
Scribner's best pitch, especially when he gets the 2 strikes, is an overhand curveball. R.J. Davis fouled a good one off 2 pitches ago to keep this at bat alive. Might go back to it.
Hanging tough. Davis fouls off another pitch. You saw Brett Laurie on deck. Brett's 2 for 3 tonight. We'd mentioned the Wandy Rodriguez rumors. Evidently that has been confirmed. Wandy Rodriguez going to the Pirates for some minor league players. Rudy Owens, Colton Kane, and Robbie Grossman. Strike 3 call. Davis couldn't pull the trigger on that fastball. Fans, pick up the new Sportsnet magazine on newsstands now. This week we profile 38 Canadian medal hopefuls as they prepare for London 2012. As well, the 7 events you don't want to miss. Sportsnet magazine on newsstands now. Great time for sports. The opening ceremonies will be on Friday as the Olympics will begin.
We got our copy today, so we'll be reading this.
Brett Laurie, we mentioned 2 for 3, average at 283. Blue Jays just haven't been able to string together any long win streaks. 4 games in a row. That's the most they've won. Off speed pitch. That's a fair ball. He kept it just inside the bag at third. That'll go down into the left field corner. But Laurie with his 3rd hit of the night.
That's starting to heat up once again. Homered on the first pitch he saw in the game yesterday. 3 more knocks tonight. Good piece of hitting. Wasn't fooled that time on that curveball. Was able to keep his hands back. That's the key. 2 strikes. He threw him a curveball, kept the hands back, and was able to keep it fair down the left field line.
18th double of the season for Laurie. Kobe Rasmus has gone 0 for 2. He was also hit by a pitch. Tonight, the Blue Jays have gone just 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They had some opportunities early in the game but couldn't cash in. The starter, Travis Blackley, ended up retiring the last 7 batters he faced, including striking out 5 of those 7 hitters.
How about that? A new season high for a game. Look at the Ks that are now coming up from the Oakland A pitching staff. You mentioned Blackley. 5 of the last 6 he struck out. Now Scribner's got 2 of the 3 batters that he has faced with strikeouts. And this one really crosses up Colby Rasmus.
Now they're taking a page out of the Yankees scouting book. They have pounded Rasmus inside tonight. How about that? You couldn't hit a ball any harder than that, but Brandon Inge snares it. Encarnacion making a bid for extra bases. Edwin hit it right on the line to the third baseman. This ball is headed for the left field corner, and then Brandon Inge makes the grab. We'll go to the ninth. Oakland has a 7-1 lead. This series, Romero will be opposed by A.J. Griffin, another young pitcher for the Oakland A's. It all starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show. Sam Cosentino and Greg Zahn will set you up for the ball game. That's 3:30 Pacific Time. Ricky Romero trying to get things turned around. Had a rough start last time out against the Yankees, as Romero will try to shut down this Oakland A ball club. Romero gave up 1 run on 6 hits against the Yankees, and just one of those tough situations.
He was matched up against Kuroda. That was that rain game in New York on Wednesday, where he pitched 6 innings. So looking to have a little better outing next time tomorrow. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to figure it out eventually, what he needs to do.
It's really kind of the way things go for starting pitchers. You know, Ricky had gotten consistently better with each season. This has been a little bit of a setback. Kelly Johnson in fair territory makes a good catch on Jamal Weeks. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Barry Davis and Ryan Leslie. Lots of rumors going around baseball, and Barry Davis and Ryan Leslie will bring you all up to speed. There have been reports that the Pittsburgh Pirates acquired Wandy Rodriguez. How about the Marlins? They had all these offseason signings to bring in all these free agents. Signed Jose Reyes, Mark Burley, Heath Bell, and now they're having a fire sale.
They were throwing money around like never before. I remember in the winter meetings, I remember the one. They're in on Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, going, wait a minute. This is the Miami Marlins we're talking about here.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's not going to be a good situation. They haven't drawn well. They haven't played well, first of all. New ballpark, and they certainly haven't drawn the way they expected to. So now, midstream, they're going to switch gears. Josh Johnson's been rumored to be dealt. They've already traded Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante. They might be moving Hanley Ramirez.
Who knows what people are going to do in baseball? It was just a week or 10 days ago that they picked up Carlos Lee, thinking that, okay, now we're in this thing. All we need is one more bat, and we're on our way.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just throwing darts.
Yeah, U-turn now. Right.
Coco Crisp caught looking. 2 quick outs for Jay Happ in the ninth.
Now, if they would be talking about Giancarlo Stanton in a trade, I'd be listening.
Yeah.
That's the one guy I would really like to have off that team. Looked like a changeup again for Happ as he paints the outside corner for the second out.
And you never know. You present them a package of players, and who knows the way they're doing things right now. It's worth a phone call.
Why not? That guy, if anybody's going to hit 50 home runs in the big leagues, it's him.
Johnny Gomes. Gomes walked in that 7th inning. Ball on a strike. Jay Happ came into the ball game and faced Coco Crisp, the first batter. Crisp jumped on the first pitch and then an RBI double. But in his defense, this is just his second relief appearance of the season. Coco Crisp didn't waste any time. He anticipated he was going to get a first pitch fastball and hammered it down the left field line.
Second relief appearance in 3 years, isn't it? So he had to come in and go right out of the stretch. Since then, he has been a little bit more fluid on the mound, a little bit more in control as he starts the inning in the windup. Retired the side in order in the 8th, got the first 2 here in the 9th.
Johnny Gomes hits it into the gap in right center. Rajay Davis in front of the scoreboard has room and makes the catch. Jay Happ gets out of the 9th inning. The Blue Jays, their last chance. Adam Lynn, J.P. Arancibia, and Kelly Johnson. Right-hander Evan Scribner went 1 inning. Jim Miller making his 21st appearance of the season. The veteran has been around. He has spent some time with the Baltimore Orioles in the past. Miller is now 30 years old, and he spent all of last year in AAA with the Colorado Rockies AAA team in Colorado Springs, and he was called up by the Rockies and appeared in 6 games at the end of the season. So it'll be Lind, Arancibia, and Kelly Johnson. Blue Jays trail by 6. Lind had a hit taken away from him in the 2nd inning. Good play by the second baseman, Jamal Weeks. Ball on the strike. Lind struck out in the 6th inning against Blackley. Blackley struck out the side in the 6th. He pitched well tonight. 8 strikeouts. This is lifted into left. Jonas Cespedes, the left fielder, gets underneath and makes the grab.
Well, I knew that the A's coming into town were going to be tough. Blue Jays swept the Boston Red Sox, had a huge offensive outing on Sunday. They knew that the A's with their pitching staff, this was going to be tough. They've been like surgeons out there tonight. Blackley, Scribner, and now Miller. Just 6 base hits by the Blue Jays tonight.
Yeah, and that's against a team that pounded out 18 on Sunday. They had the off day yesterday, but Oakland's a good pitching ball club. They lead the American League in ERA. They pitch, excuse me, Pat.
They don't mess around. They just come right after you and they throw strikes. I think they understand the value of a very well-placed fastball. When you go ahead and challenge hitters, I think good things are going to happen.
Now, the one thing they have in their favor is a very good ballpark to pitch in. And that gives them confidence. They have an ERA of 2.86 at home. So you gain confidence pitching at home, and then you go on the road, and your ERA is just a point under 4 as a team. So that translates into the best ERA in the American League.
And you gain confidence at home. You pitch in that ballpark. You can challenge hitters and say, go ahead, let me see how far you can hit it, because ball doesn't carry very well there. There's lots of room in the outfield or in the foul territory. So you learn to use your fastball and challenge hitters. That translates right out onto the road, and they do a good job there too.
Yeah, once you get used to throwing the ball over, you're going to take that approach and put it into play no matter where you pitch. Full count there in Arancibia. Fouled off the glove of Norris. JP had a line drive opposite field double in his first at bat. And with 2 strikes as well, he stayed on that pitch that was out away from him and just rode it to the gap in right center.
Looks like they're going to stay away from him also. So he had a very good approach on that double.
Well, when JP hits that ball outside and can take it the other way, that's when his average is going to climb. Take that fastball away, and he's got power. We've seen him hit balls out down the right field line.
And I think he will. He's a smart enough hitter.
With a good cut. There's a drive to left. Cespedes looking up. Arancibia, home run. Number 16 for JP Arancibia.
You know, on top of being able to handle the ball away from you, hit the ball the other way, he's also become a very good two-strike breaking ball hitter. Pitchers try to fool him, but he's able to stay back on balls, and he doesn't overcommit too quickly. Miller threw him about 4 or 5 straight fastballs that he fouled off and then tries to slip a breaking ball by him, and look what happened. Home run. RBI number 50 for Arancibia.
I think that home run was a result of those outside fastballs. That ball was on the outer part of the plate, but he was able to stay on it. Kelly Johnson has an infield hit for Arancibia. His 16th RBI and his 16th home run and his 50th RBI.
Home runs and RBIs come in bunches. And they are coming in bunches for JP Arancibia now.
This has popped up between the mound and home, and the pitcher. Jim Miller makes the catch. Don't see that very often, but nobody was going to get close enough to make a play on it. Miller said, I'll catch it. It won't be long, and we'll be up on top of CN Tower tomorrow. Take place about noon. For more information and last opportunity for you to donate to Jays Care Foundation on our behalf, log on to BlueJays.com/edgewalk. Buck and Tabby will be prancing around that edgewalk tomorrow. Well, maybe not prancing, maybe shuffling around very conservatively.
You might be prancing. I'm just going to go up there and edge walk. The edge against the wall. That's the edge I'm going on.
Yunel Escobar. Yunel's gone 0 for 3.
Have we gotten a weather report for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be gloomy. Escobar gets a base hit. A 2-out single. And Travis Snyder has hit the ball well all night long. Hit a home run in his first at-bat. And then was robbed of a base hit by Chris Carter, the first baseman. Then he struck out. Kurt Young back with the Athletics after a disappointing season in Boston with the Red Sox. And once again, I mean, you got to admire what he does with this young pitching staff.
Year after year. The names might change, but the results are always the same. They're always up in the top 5 and earned run average. They do a good job of developing young pitching.
Kurt Young, this season marks his 28th year in the Oakland organization. 8 years as the minor league pitching coordinator and 8 years in the big leagues as a pitching coach.
Also pitched for him.
12 years as a player. Travis Snyder, his second home run of the season, came against Travis Blackman. Boy, lately it's been one inning that has really been pivotal when the Blue Jays lose. And that'll do it. Travis Snyder strikes out to end the ball game. Oakland comes into Rogers Center and extends their win streak to 6 straight.
We get a chance to see why they've been so hot. They've got a very good pitching staff. They have some timely hits tonight. They showed some power and they showed some speed. One mistake by Brett Cecil, the 2-run home run, and then a big inning late for the A's. Do it for them. Turn the trick tonight as they win at 7-2.
5-run 7th inning, all with 2 outs. Stay tuned. Sportsnet Pacific, you'll join the Yankees and Mariners. Felix Hernandez, Freddie Garcia. The rest, stay tuned for Connected.